Hello and welcome to this video. What we're going to be doing here is recently in the Icarus Evolution update, the Proliferator Mk.I, II and Mk.III were added to the game, as well as these spray counters, which is a way of increasing the production rates of your various production lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to put together a scaled form of this production line, which produces all of these three. And of course, we're going to be using the proliferator to feed itself. So we're gonna make the proliferator production more efficient using the spray counters. So that'll be pretty cool to do. So yeah, the first step that we need is put together an inventory full of materials. So you will need some transportation, interstellar logistics stations, both to receive the various materials like the coal, the diamonds, and the carbon nanotubes, as well as then to supply those materials back into your transportation system. So we've got that covered. Then you need belts to draw out all of the materials. Then of course sorters to insert the materials into the assembling machines. And then of course to take it out again, they need belts to draw things back in. Then we need power to connect it all up, and then we need these spray coaters to actually spray those input materials and get the production rates to be a little bit higher. So yeah, that's basically what you need. And the next step for us here, like we've collected all of that in the inventory and plenty of those materials, so that's all good. The next step is that we need to find our chemical production, which I've lost again, which is great. Zeta Aquilia. Pretty sure it was here. Yeah, so this is the chemical production. I'm gonna rename this to chemical production to make it easier to find. Oops, caps lock. Okay, so we're gonna make our way to here, and then we'll be back. Oh, the other thing that you might want to actually do is bring some of these foundations and plenty of them. So yeah, I'll be back when we have arrived at that planet. Okay, so now we are on this planet and we've actually figured out how to do all three of them. And I'll sort of talk you through it, and then we'll actually, as we sort of put each one of these down, we'll actually do what's necessary to put down one more lane of each of what we've done here, right? So the idea with these proliferators is that you use these machines, these spray coaters, right? And you take this proliferator, now we're already producing Mk.III here, but so you take these spray coaters, and you can see that on the input there isn't anything marked on here, but on the output it actually has like the 3 arrows. And then what happens in these production lines, you can actually pick either from production speed up or extra products. In this case, we actually picked the production speed up because that doubles the production rather than just an extra 25% of products. But in certain cases, you might want to get 3 extra products. Like for example, for the materials are really rare, like spine form, or whatever, or unipolar magnets, anything involved in that, you probably want to use the 25% extra material kind of a thing. And then in sort of these production lines where, the material isn't that precious, like coal in this case, you just want to boost or double the productions because it saves you like putting down some of these conveyor belts. Okay, so we are coupling this with, and we haven't quite unlocked it yet, but we're coupling this with some of this research here that allows us to get these interstellar logistics stations to output a 4 stack, right, of coal. Now at the moment it's a 3 stack, but you know, we're pretty close to finishing some of this research up here, and then you know, they'll be outputting a 4 stack. And the aim is going to be to actually produce, as you can see here, a single 4 stack on the output line here. And we're going to be putting all of the machines together required to actually do that, right? So for that, in this case, we will need another line of coal. And coal, you know, we just have a huge amount of it available in our production line, so I'm not really that worried about it. Okay, so let's draw the input belt here, and we already know how far it goes. So then you might ask, well, David, how do you know that it's 5 of these belts? Well, we've done the maths, right? So the default production rate of this is that it produces 1 every half a second, and it consumes 1 coal to produce it, right? So that's the default production rate, right? And then the Mk.III Proliferator that we are spraying onto this is going to result in 100% production speed boost, right? And then of course we can stack to 4 on the input and the output. The Mk.III belts go at 30 per second, and the Mk.III assemblers produce at 1.5 times, right? So the max number of assemblers that we can do for, in the case where it's just 1 stack, is that it's 30 items per second, and then you know, each one gets consumed twice per second, or 1 every half a second, so we have to multiply by that. And then we have the Mk.III assemblers have a 1.5 times speed up, so we have to divide by that. And then of course we're doubling the production speed, so we have to divide by that, and then you end up with 5. So, and let's put down this first 5 here. Right, so let's take this, we'll do it in line. Alright, here we go. So then we need to do this here, and the thing that you have to remember is to make sure this is set up correctly. By default it actually does extra products, but you actually want it to do production speed up in this case. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So then the next thing to think about here, we'll actually put this here and just fix this up and put it here. Right. Is we have a 4 stack on the input, or we will do once this research finishes after 23,000 of these universe matrix, which is not going to be a problem for us. But we only have a 1 stack on the output, so what's the point of this 4 stack on the input? Well, that's where these stackers come into play. So, why? Okay, do I need to do this? Oh, that sucks. I think the grid lines are getting tighter, which is why I can't do it there. But anyway, we'll put it there. It's not the worst thing to happen in the world. Okay. So the way that we can essentially refresh this is that we just put it through one of these, and then we can keep producing, right? And then, of course, so on the output here, we have our double stack. So in the end, we want a full quad stack. So then we need another one of these down here, right? And then feed another one in here. Right. And then, of course, this is going to be combined with another quad stack that's going to come from the back somewhere, and then we can actually put it into the logistics station. Okay, and then we need to provide it power. Okay, that's fine. Cool, so that's one of these done. So then we just put in another one. So that one goes here. Then we need to draw this input belt here, and then we can do. Okay, I didn't quite draw this far enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can could of course use blueprints here if we wanted to, but I think that's just a little bit of an overhead at these sorts of build levels. Alright, and it also would be harder for you to understand what's going on. Right, so then we connect this right after this presumably autosave. So this will be producing a full belt. Once we sort of connect everything up, this will be producing a full belt of 1 stack, right? And then there's half a belt of a 2 stack here, and there's another half a belt of 2 stack, which you then have to feed another one of these. And then on the output here, we're going to have half a belt of a 4 stack, so we can actually double this again, and then we'll have a full belt of the 4 stack. So the other thing that we're missing here is that we actually need one of these. In that case, it actually was pointing in this way, and then we just draw this through here, make sure it's lifted. Then we're going to be using the spray coating, and then we should see over time, as these guys start to use these sped up coals, we will see a full belt right here, and also right here. Right, so that's this part of it done. We can actually trim this back a little bit. And then we just have to do it again. It should be pretty simple. So we need another one of these, right? And then we need some more of this input. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can trim this back a little bit. And then, of course, this will get combined here. And then we need another one of these. Come on. Here to stack it to 4, and then we can draw this to here and then finally merge it into there, right? And we get this, and then let's do this one more time. Yeah, here we go. We can do this from here into here, and then get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason this is a little bit longer than that is because of that clash that we had, which is unfortunate, but that's okay, we'll live with it. Okay, and then we put one here and one here, and then we merge it with this. And now we have another one of these 4 stacks here. So once this actually is needed again, we will have this 4 stack going in here. Okay, so that's the Proliferator Mark 1. And whilst we're talking, we've already produced 6,000 of these universe matrices, which is great. Okay, now the next one here is actually going to work a little bit differently. And the reason for that is that it actually needs 2 input materials here, right? So what we've done here is that we'll share the input line. Well, yeah, we'll share the input line here. Now, this involves a little bit of maths, right? But it's also pretty straightforward. So the aim is going to be to get a 4 stack on the output, and it takes 2 Mk.IIs to actually produce that output, right? So that means that at this point where we are producing half of a belt of 4 stack, we'd be consuming a full belt of 4 stack on the input, but only half a belt of the diamonds, right? So on the other side here, we can actually share the diamond belt, but we can't share the proliferator belt. So what we need to do is we actually need, and I'll show you how to put together, I'll show you how to put together this side, because the other parts are kind of boring, or very similar to what we've done in the past. So we just need to bring this out to here. This saves me from putting in some of the input side things. And then we need another one of these here, right here. So that can start to spray coat these things as well. And the other thing that I'm actually going to do here to make it just a little bit easier for myself is that we'll put that one there. Then I'll actually draw the full output and we'll just delete it where I don't need it. Right, so in this case, the maths is slightly different because it actually produces at 1 per 1 second. So it'll be essentially double the number that we can put on here. But you probably don't want to go too far horizontal. So in that case, we only choose to put 2 of these together, right? And it means that in the end, we'll have 4 stacks of the basic, 2 4 stacks of this Mk.II, and then 1 4 stack of this Mk.III, which actually works out pretty nicely. Okay, so let's do 10 here, up to here. I actually should have done output, and then we can sort of do this again. Okay, so it actually turns out we don't need to put down more power, which is great. Right, and then we just need to copy this up here. So put this into here, and then this, oops, this can go 1, 2 here. So that can make its way into here. And then we of course need to, oops, go out 2 again, and then just make our way into there. Okay. And then this will just need something there. Okay, so now we have connected the Mk.II, and in this case, or at least the first stage of it. So then we need one of these guys right here. Okay. And this will of course merge into here. Then we will take 1, 2, well, we'll just go all the way to here. And then we have essentially doubled. Okay, we need another one of these right there. This should be good. And then we have essentially doubled this output rate right here, which is a great state of affair. Like, state of events? I don't know. State of the world? Anyway. And then of course the other thing that we can do is that we can do another one of these on both sides here, right? And quite conveniently, there are still 2 ports left on either side here for us to be able to do that. So that is also really good. Okay, so that's the Mk.II. Now the Mk.III works in a very similar way to the Mk.II, but of course the production rate is 1 every 2 seconds. Demonstrate that over here, so let's hover over that. So 1 every 2 seconds, but other than that, it requires a slightly different input material, but other than that, it works in a very similar fashion. But it means that we are only going to end up with 1 4 stack, right? So in this case, we essentially need to get all of the material to these here, and we can share these input lines pretty comfortably, right? So what we're going to do here is I'll flip this. Okay, never mind. I will have to put this down manually. Right, let's get this. Okay. And then of course we want to produce this Mk.III. And then we just need to get this material in. Right. Oh, look at this. I actually put this down in the right way. Right. And then this line here needs to merge into there. So what we need to do here is lift it. Then get it down into there. And then we can also have another one here. Okay. Cool. So then here we get a full line of double stack that then produces a half a line of a quadruple stack that gets sort of merged up. And yeah, we've just filled up our whole storage, which is great. All right, and now we just need to put down all of these machines. This, and then we need all the way to here. And then we have produced the Mk.III. material. And of course, we also need to be spray coating the Mk.III material. So the next step that I'm going to do is that we're going to get this production to 4 times 30, which is 120 of these per minute. And we're going to do that by, of course, putting down another one of these arrangements on this side. And then we have to double this and double this as well. So let me do that, and then I'll show it to you all working. Okay, so we have just finished putting together all of these, and I'll find a way to make these blueprints available. So what I've been doing here is that once I finished it, which I have done now, we just sort of copy it all. Right, let's copy this, and then I also need to make sure to copy this part up here, right? And then we go proliferator slash Mk.III. We'll call this Mk.III. So in the description somewhere, all these 3 should be available as blueprints. So then you can use what I've done here in your own game if you want. Alright, so the way it works is basically, as you would expect, except I've made a slight mistake here. Oops, come on. So I need to fix that up for like the whole blueprint. So what did you, okay. Because this wasn't using the production line, it wasn't using the production speed up, which is what I wanted it to do. Come on. Alright, here we go, and did I? Alright, there we go. And now what you can see is that we're getting very nice and clean full 4 stack. Now every now and then it's not quite happening, but you know, you never know. But yeah, you can see that this is building at a rapid pace, producing at a rapid pace. In fact, it should be producing at 4 times 30, which is 120 per second. So that's pretty cool. Actually, I think this will be the better, oops, don't do that, better thumbnail. So you should have seen that as the thumbnail, but yeah, this works now. I just need to update the blueprint so that if you want to use this, it's actually correct. So let's just proliferator slash Mk.III Mk.III, and we'll give you that and save. Okay, cool. So that's all good. And then of course this one, which is also available in the description. Now, sadly, I'm out of diamonds, but it does work. As you can see, we have a full storage of this. Probably need to request this stuff here locally. Then they should go pick up more. We'll see. And yeah, this also works. So we have essentially gone to 4 times on this here as well. So yeah, now that, yeah, so there you go. I'll also make sure to update that blueprint to sort of demand these things locally so that you actually have it available. Now this is completely empty, unfortunately, of course, but yeah, so that's the proliferator production line, which is an excellent addition to the game, so we'll have a lot of fun with it. And you know, some of these fairly costly materials, such as, you know, particle collider stuff producing critical photons, we can actually boost the output by 25%, which would be pretty cool. And then, you know, some of these others here that we have available. I actually wonder what happens when you do it with this. I assume nothing. Maybe we'll experiment with that for just a minute here, but yeah. Anyway, we will leave it at that. We have done all what we intended to do in this guide. So yeah, thank you for watching. Until next time, bye. We were just experimenting a little bit here with these fractionators, right? So by default it's 99% and 1%, but with these here it's actually 98% and 2%. So this also works on the fractionators. Now it looks like you don't get extra materials, it just sort of doubles the production rate, which makes sense. Or doubles the chance, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Good that they thought of that. So yeah, just wanted to add this little footnote.